from your perspective, what would be the best path forward?
Since the VAT has gone up from 3,500 to 150 to 10,000 to 250,
Yep.
If you wouldn't be opposed to some of those opportunities, they should be rotated.
Not only would he not be opposed to those, that's where he'd like to start.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I guess at this point, what I'd like to do, and if you're good with it, is if there are any insights you can provide as it pertains to whether it's the P card stuff under 10,000, the SAPs under 250, any direction that you can give him from your perspective as sort of an insider with the agency would be really helpful. Any connections we can make, anybody we can talk to, and if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about on that front, feel free.
What are your initial thoughts on how I can break through the ceiling, so to speak?
Well, I think the first thing to do is for me to be able to provide you the contact of those who handle the purchase cards. And the only reason why I say that, because normally that's where a lot of those buys take place. So in those, that's a little different path. At the set level, they can go pretty fast, and they can come up with how they want to do direct rewards. So I think that's the first thing I do is be able to find out purchase card managers and find out who use those, at least for those my two organizations, ASPR and PSC. PSC going to have a larger contingent because they not only do buying for their options, but they also support the Office of the Secretary and many other entities as part of HHS.
Outside of even HHS, right? Like interagency stuff.
Oh yeah, they do. That's another division, but they do DOD, Coast Guard. It all goes to PSC because it's a fee-for-service shop. And Don is the guy that handles that side, and he's pretty good too. So make that introduction as well. You send him your capability. And Don's pretty good.
That'd be ideal. That'd be ideal.
You don't want to flood them, but I don't think it's nothing wrong with routinely keeping your capability statement, in front of them.
Once I figure out who buys, trust me, he's going to stay in front of them. I promise. That's something I'm really good at.
Like you said, you don't want to, frustrate them, but there's a lot going through that. People forget they can't. If they like me, they can't remember what they had for breakfast, and so if they see something, they say, "Oh, okay, I got this right here that just came out. It seemed like this could work together." And boom, they could do it. So
I'm with you, man. I learned a term from Dan Sturdivant, he was a chief of OSDW, I think for Dan Sturdivant.
That's a long time. You know Dan.
I do know Dan. Dan said pleasantly persistent. That was the term he used.
Yeah, that's a nice choice of words.
That's what we'll try to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we got a pretty good direction here in terms of if we get that contact list, we can refine it down. I really do believe that's the first place to go, and then I think we also should be pursuing the subcontracting with the primes.
Yep, absolutely. That money's green too. And when you come across some of these contracts that look like they have a recompete, you can get the contracting officer name.
Yep.
And if they won't, and they may not talk to you, but if you send it to me, then I don't have to research it. All I got to do is pick up the phone and shoot an email and say, what, you got any updated status on whether they're it's gonna come out again, are they gonna buy this again, or you got a tentative date when RFI might hit the street, and then all I got to do is just send them an email because we're already in the system. I mean, I'm just saying that would just make it easier for me to help you.
Well, I think what we'll do on that is we'll take first pass directly with the CO because I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to just hand you everything we run into. We'll take a first pass at it. And you know the deal. If they're not responsive initially, we'll do another one. And then, if we go 2 or 3 passes and we don't hear anything, then I might have you persist.
Yeah, because they will. They have to. Well, they have to talk to me.
I know
they don't have to, but I mean,
it's in their best interest.
And sometimes I call and I don't get a response, but then I call the boss. I email the boss and say, look, I'm trying to get it to code with the CO and I'm not getting a call back in. And then he'll reach out to him and then I'll get what I get.
You're my kind of guy.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I appreciate it.
I got a question for the two of you. Based on that, would it be wise if anybody that we did reach out to, we at least copied you on it so you were aware of who we're reaching out to?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me.
Okay. You good with that?
We'll talk about it. We're going to manage that. I want to make sure that it's involved and up to speed with everything. I don't want to over-inundate them with stuff.
I think one of the things especially as it relates to PSC, while I'm still a small business person, if they see I'm CC, they know I'm on the loop. Hopefully, that's going to engender a response. That wouldn't be bad to try, at least initially.
Agreed.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Could you please explain a little bit more to me? You suggested that I come out to Washington when it's appropriate for some of these meetings to hold capability briefings. Could you just elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, since it's a little bit of distance for you, so what I would suggest, even though this is government and even though it's a big organization, you still want to be able to meet and greet and see some of the people you want to do business with. I would suggest you make the trip, not so much for a capabilities brief, because that's pretty easy. We can almost do that, go to meeting. But some of the industry days, like if like NIH is planning a big industry day. I mean, and NIH is big enough to be an agency by itself. That's one of the ones that might be worth the ticket in the room. And the only reason why I say that is that you get not only to hopefully get to meet contract personnel, program personnel, and even other businesses that you can partner with. That's always a business decision on your part, because, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You have to weigh that. But I'm just saying, that's eventually you're going to want to do that, especially, from where you are, be able to get to know some of these folks, having met them, know them by name, they know your name, they know the company name. That all doesn't happen immediately. And I think probably can better guide you in that, because you want to make sure you get the most bang for your buck.
Would you agree with the idea? So I know that HHS does I think it's the first Tuesday of every month or something, they have a meet and greet. That's not the same as an industry event. An industry event is a targeted event where it's vendor outreach, where they're doing matchmaker. That's a different scenario. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Absolutely. So that's a totally different scenario. You're right. You're exactly right on that. Every second Tuesday and every month, all the small business specialists that support all the different optics in HHS get together, and we have a 10 to 15 minute. You sign up, and different companies come through and give us the capabilities. Sometimes we can, sometimes we may have some opportunities with us if they've given them to us. A lot of times they don't. And sometimes we get an opportunity to be able to kind of evaluate capability statements or evaluate how they business. And a lot of times, not all the time, some of these businesses are new, or mostly I should say new to the government. Mm-hmm. And that's a good opportunity, like you said, a meet and greet. Now, the industry days, to me, that they are a little bit more full blown, and that's why I would suggest that, because they're only going to do them annually, because it's going to be. It requires so much resources for them to put it on. Like NIH has one coming up. I was out at NIH last year, and I did the primes meet subs, where I had all the prime contractors, the Booz Allens, the Deloitte, the SES, and they met, prime meet subs, so they were looking for some subcontracting opportunity. And then you have another section where you have different sections where the COs in the program might be there for the cancer center, library of medicine, the different parts of NIH, which is a lot, clinical center, and they just keep going on. And that way, I'm just saying that might be an event that you might want to put on the calendar. And then you get to better see how they operate. But like I was saying, about these, and you can better advise on that, because, that doesn't come without in an expenditure, and of course you want to get a return on your investment.
Yep. So we're on the same page there. So we'll evaluate those as they come up, those events, and we'll sort of matrix whether or not it makes sense. But there are key events that you definitely need to get some face time in, and we'll evaluate that as we go.
And one of them is also it's an annual event. And that's why you could better advise, because sometimes all of them don't get the value.
Right.
But like I think the VA does one every year too. A small business, a national small business. They call it an engagement. They won't call it a conference anymore. Government get in too much trouble with conferences.
Right. We've seen that. Yeah. No, I think those annual events, especially as long as it's a target agency that buys what you sell, those annual events are can't miss. I think it's It's the ones they do every week where they're going to have the event whether someone shows up or not. Those are the ones where it's a little questionable whether or not you should spend the time.
I agree.
Sure.
Absolutely, Zach. Absolutely.
So what I'll do is I'll follow up with you with an email going over the MCC codes and just recapping some of the strategy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I welcome that.
Perfect.
I welcome it.
I love it.
All
right, gentlemen, anything else anybody needs to cover?
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, and I think we'll do some great things together. We'll talk soon.
Looking forward to it.
Take care, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a great day. Bye.
You too.